No, I'll go inside and set your intro up. Okay.
It just happened.
Okay. All right, what's the theme?
We're recutting corner braces because they were incorrect, but you could just say recutting corner braces. Daniel. What's up, Daniel? There it is, the diagonal score mark. What's up, man? So you got your diagonal mark now. Man, I made a big mistake yesterday. Those braces were not cut right, or my pockets weren't cut right. So that's probably what we'll work on today. Kind of a pain in the butt. Not gonna lie. Hate to redo stuff that I felt like I did well, but I did not do it well. So welcome to Dad's Workshop. For recorded live purposes, I will give this value by saying I cut corner braces yesterday and they were not cut correctly. Now, what I think, and if you give me a minute, let me show you how I cut them. I wanted to throw them into a fire and burn them because I was so mad about it. But as you all know from the last time we were here, we cut these braces here. And I think the problem is that when I adjusted these tenons, I just cut the meat off of one side. What I should have done is made the tenons the full length. And then if they were too long, cut them gradually a little shorter, which is what I did. Welcome, Robert G. Happy Tuesday. Yeah, I'm making new ones because they were, I can't fix them. I can fix the pockets, but I can't fix the braces because I cut too much material. If you kind of peep the difference between the way these are and the brace from my first bunk bed, you can see the tenon is longer. So that's probably why they came up short. It looks like just about the difference here between the end of this tenon is about the difference in how they fit. They were too short by that amount. So if I leave that much tenon on them, I imagine if I have to, I might have to let's take those pockets and like make those diagonal. But you know, you live and you learn. Here's two braces from the other day. It's all right. You know, sometimes you got to do stuff over again. Keep chewing gum. I'm biting my tongue. Yep, gonna make new ones, man, and hopefully these will fit together and we won't have the same problems. Get my cup of coffee here in a second. Kind of people are gonna probably, hopefully, filter in. The way I've been approaching these I actually like, which is I take this this vise and I actually, well, to start, I cut from the top using gravity. It's easier if I turn it on its side. Hopefully you can see everything there in the camera. Let me see, because I'm behind. Let me get to live. Yeah, it looks like you can see my side here. So I'm going to take this saw here, and I'm going to do this 45-degree angle. What was I saying today? Oh, I think the next project after we finish this bunk bed, I'm going to build a wood bender out of either a bucket and some PVC pipe, or out of a tea kettle and some PVC pipe and some hot hose, like some metal hose. We're gonna build a wood bender. I think that'll be a cool project. I don't think there's probably a couple people on YouTube doing it. There's everything on there, but we'll do it on the live stream. Oh, I got mosquitoes. Mosquitoes. I need to spray some of that stuff on myself. Hold tight. Got him, I think. Actually, does look like I got one. Nah, like metal hose, metal, like a hot water hose, man. It's like braided metal. Usually, I have one in here somewhere. Used to be under this table, probably bent by the table leg, but HOSE, not HOES, right? Sorry that I have to do this over again. It kind of I got a metal hose under my table. No, we freeze. Hold on, let me check my internet. Gotta bite that a little bit more. Just a tricky spot here. It's got this knot on it, top here, making it's wanting to move my saw. It's that knot right there. It's really making it look like I don't know how to saw. Pulling my saw out of the. Wish y'all could see. These kind of knots on the top when you're cutting are the kind that are dangerous because you cut yourself getting to it. Is it Chardonnay's birthday today? Happy Chardonnay. Happy Chardonnay Day. Welcome, Chardonnay, friend of the program. Daniel was the first one in today. Haven't seen Diego yet, except for on other people's live streams. The only place I see him. Not that I'm jealous or anything. Well, I can tell you for sure it's not my day. Woo-hoo. With 100% certainty. I really should have a cut line there. I got to make a line there. My brain works right now. This is where that line should be right there. Got you, Robert. You got to take care of the animals, man. Can't leave the animals to their own devices. This is really tricky, man. It just doesn't look like that line is straight, like the same on both sides. So if you just got here, I'm recutting the braces, not cutting the next set. And that is because for some reason, well, I know the reason, the braces ended up short. So then I ended up short. It's hot. I mean, it's warm. I guess it's not as hot as yesterday. I guess we got the same weather as you pretty much, Chardonnay, probably. Warm. But I'm sure you're not asking me. You're probably asking one of the more fun people. Mike, what's up, man? Yeah, Mike, I'm recutting these braces, man. They were too short, or the tenons were too short. Didn't fit right. Man, I have not had that, believe it or not, as much as that always made me paranoid. I have not had that problem, man. Oh, what am I doing? This is not the way I do this. Yeah, it is. I've had a rough day today, guys. Tree fell in the neighbor's yard, and my chainsaw crapped out, so that became an issue, and I used my truck to pull it. Probably, stressed my truck. Not trying to put Miss Heather through all of that again, but just been kind of a marginal day, how those happen. Using the rip cut side here because I'm rip cutting when I'm going down through the grain like this. That's the wider teeth. Yeah, man, I am too, to be honest. Sometimes when days are tough, you just like, all right, day, go away. Next day, but I gotta do my live. I can't skip over the live part. This is but I caught that with my foot. That could have broke the tendons off of that thing. I do the same thing as yesterday. Come from the side here, and then rip cut it until you kind of get to the end of it. Woo! Hot. Oh, sorry. New microphone. You think that'll work?
Yeah.
Sorry about that, folks. Did something with my receiver from my other mic the other night. That better? I did hit it a little right there. Maybe put it on my left side, probably be better. Switch the mic over to my left side here. There's that light too. It's a little tougher than that last one was. I might chisel those out. Put my mic on the other side so I don't bother you all with all that noise. Hopefully. That's usually where I put my pencil though. That sounds right there, Daniel. Tenon. Never heard the term skirt, but I'm sure it is a term. This shoulder right here is not online. I'm going to have to recut that shoulder there. It's going to have to be cut a lot further, or chisel out all that material. kind of actually. Let me stop cut here. And in this case, the tenon is actually in the center, you know, and it depends on what kind of brace you're cutting, open face or whatever, where your tenon is going to be oriented. Unfortunately, as I told you, I did make a mistake yesterday. So there was and the mistake, well, I'll show you in a second what I did. It worked when I showed y'all at the end of the day, but if you recall, I was like, this looks like it's not at a 90-degree angle. You know, we have that square rule of woodwork. It looked like it wasn't square. And so then when I cut the other tenon out today, I was worried about it when I went in last night. I'm not going to lie. Cut the other tenon today, and I realized that it was going to flop. It wasn't going to be sturdy. It was going to be wrong. And actually, as I do this, I think it's probably more because of the housing than the tenon. But I can't use those tenons as constituted. I cut them too short. And that's why you never cut too much material out without knowing, you know. Do as I say, not as I do, I guess. There's a lot of that with me. That's my kids. Appreciate everybody being here. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do click the subscribe button. Right now we're working on a tenon for a bunk bed. I'm going to recut this whole side here. Let me take this tenon out first. Get this waste out. That side is clean. It's the other side I'm worried about. As I was just saying a minute ago before Mike showed up, my next project, as I was telling Miss Heather, after this bunk bed is going to be to make a wood bender. So we're going to use like some cheap materials, some PVC, and like either a metal like spaghetti pot or a teapot, and we're going to make a wood bender. I'll make a wood bending form, and then we'll see what kind of cool stuff we can make with bent wood. My uncle does a lot of that. He rebuilds Chris Craft boats. I always liked to, one time I went on a run with him to go get some special plywood. Felt like that was a really cool thing, cool opportunity. Yeah, this line here is significantly off. So I'm going to fix this line real quick. How's everybody doing? Let me check this chat. Hello, Mr. LOL, Mr. Seaton. To the office, please. Oh, I just got a, I can't say that. I just got a call from a principal, but luckily not because I'm to the office. But it's funny that you should say that, Mike. A little bit of intuitiveness that you have there. No, I don't like that, but that's going to be how. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to use that like that. A little ugly on the bottom here. I kind of took out some waste that shouldn't have been taken out. But I'm gonna try this brace anyway because I'll just sand away some of that ugly stuff. I just don't have any more spare lumber to like make more mistakes. So this is definitely the area where I always expect the mistakes. But last time I was real lucky. Or just more precise in my brushing up on the fundamentals of knee braces and diagonal timber frame braces. Probably was part of the reason I got it right. But at the time, I didn't feel like I was doing it very well. Put the braces on, they fit. I was like, magic. Wow, I'm good at this. I'm going to be a timber framer, you know? And then I just had this happen yesterday where I cut them too short and was like, yep, still a novice. Still a novice at this, man. All the maths. Got to work out all those maths in your head. This is actually quite a bit more material than there needs to be here. I'm going to get a different chisel. This is not really the right chisel for this. If I was teaching on a day like today, I would start character lecturing because of my difficult day. This is why I can't be a teacher anymore. I'd be like, you know what? In the world, you should treat people like this. And, you know, you should do this and this. And nobody wants to hear that. So I had a tough day, you know, who cares, honestly. Sure, there's a lot worse days out in the world than what I had. What I want to do is size this against the post. What I did before was take the shoulders and lay them against the layout, you know, the layout face, and then just draw it on just to be sure. And that worked. You know, definitely doesn't always work. You can't do that with larger timber frame structures. You know, Appalachian Wood would tell me that if they were in here, you got to be able to build it without putting it together and then know that it's going to go together. At this moment, that's not something I can promise to anybody. Right now, I'm just going to build it how I can build it, you know. Juan Carlos Rivero Lopez, welcome. Well, I mean, I'm allergic to beer now, but I didn't know I was allergic to beer till I was in my 30s. I love beer, man, especially like wheat beer. But so when I did drink, I would do stuff like wake up on a bike path, you know. One time slept in a yard on the grass, woke up when the dew started getting cold. Probably better I don't drink, you know. But that's just, you know, I can still drink some alcohol, I just can't drink beer, you know, traditional beer. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Click that subscribe button right now. We're working on timber frame braces. And the ones I made yesterday were whack. So here we go. We're going to try it again. Got a little chunk out of this one. That was not great. But, you know, this is the thing about Dad's Workshop. And Calvin, that's me. I am nothing if not imperfect. About the most imperfect person you'll ever meet. Those days, XD. What's XD? Fill me in. I'm just not feeling very smart right now. Let's turn this around real quick. And then I'm going to real quick step away, take a drink, and check this against the layout face. And not a drink of alcohol, a drink of something that'll hydrate me when I'm pouring out sweat. Kind of do this, and this helps a little bit here. Shout out Chardonnay for the great vice. It helps with this. Similar situation here where I have a knot right at the surface. What's everybody saying? Stop talking trash. Maybe, Mike. Yeah, and you know the vice is obviously a situation where I have a lot of freedom as to how I angle a piece of a work piece, and so that makes it really good for the live. Whereas woodworkers might not typically like these vices. In the case of running a live stream, it's perfect, and I like it a lot. I always use the metalworking vice anyway. Like I never really got a real woodworker's vice. I think it is. I like the saw a lot, but I think it is probably time for a new one of these. I got the little one too as a backup. For this job, I can't do it because the little one's too short to handle these tenons. They got to be long enough for the workpiece. So. Oh, I didn't cut that side yet, so we'll go ahead and do that. Flip it sideways. I missed that one side. That is interesting. So I'm old enough that my teachers took smoke breaks in the teacher smoking lounge. They took us to the bathroom, and right next to the restrooms was the teacher smoking lounge. And so my second grade, oh, sorry, I hit the microphone there. Sorry about that, folks. Testing. The teachers would not hit us. My principal had a paddle though, so that takes you back too. The teachers would take us to the bathroom and smoke a cigarette, have another teacher that had already smoked a cigarette watch us, you know. Now most schools, teachers can't even step outside and smoke cigarettes. Some school systems, they find out that you smoke, it'll compromise your job. Crazy. Not saying smoking is good, but I don't like it when government, companies, whatever, reach into your lifestyle. I'm not big on that. I need to make stop cuts here because, I don't need stop cuts. I need to make some, because there's a knot right here and I'm concerned this knot is going to mess up my tenon. There it is. If I break this tenon, I quit. Yeah, the problem with old G.I. Joe, like in the 80s, when I was a kid, I was a little kid in the 80s, like it was lasers. And I'm like, who are the lasers hitting? Because it's like pew, 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 and lasers everywhere on the field. But all the G.I. Joe guys are just standing there, pew, 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 pew. Worst shots on earth because they never hit anyone. It's like an R.L. Stein book. Nobody actually dies. Still working at this knot here because it is being real stubborn. It's most of it, but it's still, you can actually see really well how the knot has affected the grain around it here because I'm kind of peeling it away. But these are a pain, man. Every day, all you hear is me complaining about knots. Yeah, I love the Smurfs, man. Gargamel and the Gargamel with his one tooth. Silence. Every villain in the 80s would say, silence, you fools. You imbecile, to like their own people. Like they had to like shame their own employees. So like their goons would always get shamed. Oh, I'm sorry, boss. That's the 80s. There's every cartoon in a nutshell right there. Raja Bindi, welcome. Welcome back. Chardonnay, I don't think she was born in 89. I do not think she was born in 89. Yeah, that'll tell you about what her age is right there. Those cartoons that she watches, take notes. Cat dog. Cat dog. Cat dog. Oh, I'm going to get a copyright hit for that. Unless I turn it into a parody, which trumps copyright law. How do you like that, Chardonnay? Do you like it when people think you're older than you are? I think you're probably past that phase where you like that. Yeah, now Chardonnay, you are a few years off. When I looked at it, I was like, nah, I don't think that's possible. I don't think I taught anyone who was born in the year 1989. Maybe when I taught privately piano or something. Big knot right here. Is Ruiz up in here, man? I need Ruiz's picks. This might break off my tenon. I am more than a little concerned right here. Move this towards the fulcrum of this thing here. That's probably similar knot on this one too, right at the same, almost the same location. Similar size, about the size, like a little smaller than a dime. Yeah, getting the shoulder, as who was that? Gandara was talking about the anatomy of a tenon or mortise and tenon joint. Getting that shoulder straight is like so important. Obviously, I didn't even get to that much on this last set of braces because they were the size was so bad. I mean, I couldn't even worry about any of that stuff. I'm like measuring the other tenons, trying to figure out what did I do wrong. It's the same size. So then I realized it must be how the tenon itself on the end of the brace is laid out. And I'll show you that in a second, where I made a mistake. Yes, that knot right there. I want to just be able to check this against the mortise. I missed Chardonnay's answer. I got to go back to the chat. Chardonnay, do you like it when people overestimate your age? Was the question. And yeah. So yeah. So I think oh, Mike, you're born in 63, man. You look good, man. You look young. No homo, but you look good. Crushing it. I would have never guessed the 60s at all, Mike. Not at all. So what's going to happen with these is I'm going to have to extend the brace pockets, and I got to be really careful about how I do it, because if I do it wrong, it could be that I end up having to cut the entire posts over again. So here's the way I cut the braces this time. Now there's a little hiccup right here, but we have the braces in 1/2 inch tenon, 1/2 inch on each side as the shoulder. Let me show you the way I cut them wrong. Or not? Am I? Can I? Will I? The other thing is when you shorten them, they actually become more brittle. So here, let's look at the difference between what I did yesterday, pretty much the same size, because I determined it wasn't the length that was the problem here. It's the tenon length. You see how that tenon is cut short? This worked for me on the last one because I was, I guess, a little more accurate or something. I had things more stable. But this is really the way that the braces should be for now. The tenon needs to extend like that. Man, mosquito was biting me on my face. It needs to extend that entire length of the end of the tenon in order for it to fit. It looks short when I do this because this is a 1/2 inch. This is a full inch almost away from where it needs to enter the brace pocket. So interesting that when I do that, I lose viewers. Struggling recently, man. All right. I'm going to cut one more brace. This is a really slow night tonight. We might call it a day. Let this day end with some grace. Let me check this against the brace. Take a water break. I'll be right back. It's Dad's workshop. Yeah, that looks like it's going to work there because all I got to do is extend those brace pockets back and cut like a miter, you know, like a miter entrance, a 45-degree angle entrance. But the brace pockets has got to get moved back. And then that should fit like pretty much perfectly there. I would show you all, but it would take me moving a whole bunch of material around. So give me 1 second. Let me drink some water and we'll get back to it. Got it. Thing. Probably one that bit me on my face. Welcome back. I'm here. I'm hydrated. I'm communicative. Oh, excuse me. I'm emotionally available, though I don't know if any of my gullet is available at the moment. Whew. Okay. All right. Well, let's cut this other brace and let's wrap it up here because it is a slow day. And I think Tuesdays have turned out to be like this a lot, but no excuses. It's been bad recently. That's why we got to do something a little different here soon. We will. But my goal when I started this YouTube channel was to keep going and persevere. You know, I'm going to flip this around so I can actually adjust the handle here on my side. My goal was to persevere and, you know, kind of let the chips fall where they may. Shout out to Ruiz, wherever you at, man. We miss you here. Miss you, Ruiz. Hate to lose you. Yeah, a lot of different ages here. Totally not reflective of my demographic as a whole, which is mostly boomer age males, apparently. Mike is actually more reflective of my demo than anyone in the room, basically. kill the mosquitoes while I'm sawing stuff. No, and I would have loved that, man. I would have loved to check in from Julian. That's right. We did not miss my sons. This is so tricky, man. I did have this problem every time I did this, though. It's really tricky to get your saw, if you're doing this by hand, to get your saw on that line at 45. Kind of got to get a little bit lucky. Like I never used a saw in my life. Leave that there with that. Thank you, Raja. Thank you so much. Appreciate Raja. He's got a great channel. Check his channel out over there on YouTube or here on YouTube. Now I got those two cut. Now I need to flip it. Well, I kind of got those two cut. Look how, I mean, if you were to see this, I've been so sloppy, man. You know, every day is different. And definitely today is one of those days I'm not super shocked that my work is not great. Am I hitting the mic again? Should I set the mic right here? How do y'all hear when I set the mic on the bench? How does that do? Not the fun part. Can y'all hear me? Oh, how did I do this before? Why am I confused right now? I know how I did it. That's was the orientation. Wow, that was horrible. I didn't cut this side yet. Let's do that first. Man. Oh, echoey? Okay. I'm going to try it right here. How about here on my belly area? I mean, this mic is a little bigger. It's got this big pad on it. Pulling it with one kind of firm pull stroke kind of gets that line. So I'm going to try that from now on. I think these mics are more sensitive too. So you're going to hear my shuffling a little more, whereas the other mic like had some noise reduction qualities about it, I think. This one is a way more powerful mic. When I tested it before we went on, I was kind of surprised at how loud it was. Real loud. Oh, don't worry. It is a little bit more dangerous when I can't set the line as easy and I'm sewing to the side of the grain, or I'm sawing to the side of the grain. That is a little more dangerous, so I don't love that part of this project, but we're now on the other part where I'm going to rip cut through. And I've found that recently that chiseling away the most of the waste from the shoulders is probably the best way to do it, as long as you don't have a lot of knots in there. How's everybody doing? Tomorrow's not Friday. The day after tomorrow's not Friday. But, you know, once we finish this Tuesday, we got stuff to look forward to, right? Always something to look forward to. I'm going to turn this more. It's like at an angle right now. I'm going to turn it straighter here. As always, I'm going to start outside the line. Even this is a little tricky here. I do think I probably need a new one of these saws, though. This is not, especially on the rip cut side, that's not. Let me see if I can do this without splitting the wood all the way down, because you can accidentally do that when you cut into the grain like this. I'm going to try to make a little divot for my saw to sit in. Apparently mosquitoes don't mind deep. Off is no longer a deterrent to them. I dare you to bite me. I dare you to bite me. Sorry, y'all. It is. Tomorrow is hump day. We will, each individual moment will pass, you know, which I had to tell myself several times today. All right, let's see if that helps. Maybe not, maybe. Who knows? That did help. So I want to get a new chainsaw, but I don't want to buy a little cheap, tiny little chainsaw. I want to get like a 395 XP or one of these big like 70 to 90 cc chainsaws so I can mill wood with it too. And because I went out today because I need an emergency chainsaw. And what I found was that either I'm going to get a tiny one, not disposable, but the equivalent of disposable saw, like a 14-inch chainsaw, just to do this job. And then I'll get a saw that can handle a 24 to a 32-inch blade, I guess, in the future. But what I wanted to do is just use the same saw for it, to switch the bar and chain on it when I'm doing like what you see on what's that guy's Woodchuck. He's probably using a chisel bit. I don't know for sure. I think I tried to ask him on his live stream what he uses, but probably using a chisel bit most likely, or chisel chain. And to do that, you got to, there's less links on the chain and stuff like that. It's kind of like the chainsaw equivalent of a hand rip saw. There's less teeth on the rip side than on the crosscut side. And my point is that I would just get one chainsaw and use it for all those applications when I'm cutting trees down or when I'm milling lumber, or just have two bodies to the saw too. That's the other option. They've got these like cheap knockoffs of Husqvarna 90cc saws on Amazon. Basically, the Chinese dupe of what what you find with those larger steel and Husqvarna saws. Anybody who has input on rip cutting chainsaws, let me know. I had to do a lot of research a while ago to try to find to compare specs and find one. So I need to go back and look through my papers and notes and find what was the exact saw specs that I felt like I needed in order to mill lumber. Because with a sawmill, like a conventional band sawmill, which is what people use typically now, most of those have a limit of like 28 inches for logs. But if you have a chainsaw mill, like a good sized chainsaw, there's really hardly any limit to the slabs that you can cut out with those. So if anybody knows anything about that, put something in the chat. Let's talk about what chainsaws you use for whatever you use chainsaws for. If you're cutting trees down or any of that, I'd love to know what input you all have on chainsaws. What's your experience with chainsaws? Are you good with them? I love a chainsaw, man. When I started doing woodwork, that was probably my most used tool. You know, like I milled my boards. I got this Husqvarna saw and I cut a cedar tree and I turned it into boards and made a table. I was really proud of it, and that kind of set me off, man. So I'll tell you, it wore the Husqvarna motor out cutting 3 boards. I took it to the shop and the guy said, I don't know what's wrong with this. It must be defective because the whole motor is basically worn out on the inside. I was like, I don't know. So the warranty covered it because I didn't do anything they said not to do. They didn't say don't rip cut wood. You know, all this, you know, they just didn't accommodate for it with how tough the saw was. But they replaced it. So shout out Husqvarna. Thank you so much for fulfilling your warranties. Also, another company that does that really well, DeWalt. Great company, man. If I ever get a chance to get sponsored by DeWalt, I will have no problem taking that. That's a good company with good employees. Good management, good customer service. There you go. You got some value out of this video right now, right there. Never touch a chainsaw, huh, Chardonnay? I know we got people up in here probably a little bit distracted by something right now. Let me know what kind of chainsaws they use. Right. That's what I'm talking about, Robert G. I'm talking about chisel and chisel blade, chisel chains. Those chains have less teeth and less links, usually. Sometimes, though, the pitch is different. So I got to like make sure the pitch is right. I'm not really good with all those pitch numbers and stuff. I got to brush up on that again. I want a 395 XP, which is a Husqvarna saw, but the last time they made that saw was like, I looked today, it was 2006. So all of the orders you get for that, you got to basically special order it. They're out there, but you have to special order it. That's like a 92 cc saw. It's crazy powerful. Very powerful saw. That MS311 that you got, Robert, what's the CCs on that? Like what are, you can tell me what size bar and chain you use too, that would help. I have heard a lot of good things about steel, you know. But I have had a good experience with Husqvarna. They stand by their stuff. Just, I know steel is like the choice of real lumberjacks generally. Yeah, definitely on this channel, we'll be doing some chainsaw milling. It's just a matter of time. I'll probably set the camera up outside. I'll have a pit cut and a whole stand understand, like I'll make a little mill out of boards. I'm not going to buy one of those cheapo Alaskan lumber mills. I'll actually just build a frame around whatever I'm going to cut. That's really the best way to do that. Basically set your chainsaw up to the log, right? 24-inch bar. Yeah, that's a powerful saw. Yeah, that's no joke. 59, 60 cc's. Pretty strong. You could probably chainsaw mill with that. And you got to have something up there at least 50 or 60 cc's to mill. I mean, you could probably use a smaller saw. I've heard of it being done, but I think those big powerful ones are the ones that can really handle the, you know, like yours probably could handle it if it had a chisel blade on it, chisel chain on there. Let me do this chisel. I see this thing rolling on the table. All right, one more cut here and then chisel it off and we're done, man. This is kind of like quasi rip cutting because it's diagonal to the grain. So I just figured probably the rip side is what you want to use. Maybe that the crosscut side works better. I'm using that right now. Nah, it seems like it's too fine for the. Oh, thank you, Robert. It is still a rip cut. Okay, I thought it might be. That's kind of how I usually treat it. So I'm glad that I was guessing correct. And when you have a large surface area and a smaller saw, it gets real tricky. So what I need is a large. I used to have a large Ryoba style saw, like a large dovetail saw, Japanese style saw. I've used so many pull saws for so long, it would take a lot of practice for me to go back to a Western style saw, a push saw. You know, even if it was a really nice one, I would look bad with it for a while because I've used these pull saws for so long now. All right, let me try to see if I can make the path of least resistance here is to take some more from this side here. Kind of a tricky bit to do. A bit awkward, kind of backhand cutting it there. All right, I think that's ready. I'm going to chisel that away now. Appreciate all you loving people for showing up to Dad's workshop today. All the loyalty and all the support that everybody has given me. Priceless. It gives me solace to know that I have friends like you all that will show up for me. Appreciate y'all so much. If you are new to Dad's workshop, please click that subscribe button. Show us some support by just subscribing. No, not looking for anything monetary. No, just subscriptions, comments, thoughtful comments, and support. That stuff we love. So if you do enjoy learning about rustic furniture, traditional woodcraft, things like that, and you want to learn with us, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I very much appreciate all of you being here today on this very hot, mosquito-y, kind of a tough day for me. But again, appreciate everybody. Show up and show out. That's right, Chardonnay, friend of the program. Let me go back and shout out everybody who came in today. Oh, by the way, this is our brace now, hopefully better than our last set. Got the brace going all the way down to the bottom. If I need to trim something, I'll just start with a little bit off this side. That's what I did when I made my last bed. So we'll go with that. Shout out Robert G for sticking around the whole time, adding to the chat. Shout out Chardonnay. Shout out Mike is Making Stuff. Mike is Making Stuff is doing a drive for the Wounded Warrior Project. Check out Mike is Making Stuff in his YouTube channel. If you want to help the Wounded Warrior Project, we're getting close to Memorial Day. Really close to Memorial Day. It wouldn't be bad for you all to make some sort of contribution at this time. Delan of Delan's Workshop, or Delan, I hope I'm saying Delan right. I think it's Delan or Delan. He is matching any donations up to $500. I don't want to say an amount too much. So any donation up to $500, Delan and his wife are matching. I want to encourage anybody who has the opportunity or the means to make a contribution there. Put your money where your mouth is when it comes to supporting folks. And appreciate everybody being here. Lock that one out in a short amount of time. And join the Discord. Absolutely. Thank you, Chardonnay. Join the Discord. Drop a comment. Subscribe. Come back tomorrow on Wednesday when we're back again. And Thursday. Monday through Thursday, Dad's Workshop. We love you all. Hug someone you love. Do the next right thing. Enjoy each moment as it is brand new. And I'll see you all next time, Dad's Workshop.